church held secrets older than its stones, there lingers a tale of holy water turned to blood. Close your eyes now, dear listener, and let the faint echo of distant plainsong carry you back to a time when miracles and curses walked hand in hand. This is a chronicle drawn from the whispered records of medieval Christendom, meant to cradle your weary mind in deep and peaceful slumber. Feel the cool stone of an ancient font beneath your fingertips, the faint scent of incense lingering in the air. Breathe deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth, and allow the slow rhythm of my words to guide you gently downward, where the worries of the day dissolve like candle smoke into the night. Mist-veiled hills of Northumbria, there served a young priest named Father Elias. The church was small and ancient, its walls blackened by centuries of tallow. Candles, its holy water font carved from a single block of stone said to have been blessed by St. Cuthbert himself. The villagers were simple folk shepherds, ploughmen, weavers who clung to their faith as to a rope above an abyss. Yet that autumn, a strange heaviness settled over the parish. Crops withered without, 'cause babes were born sickly, and at night the wind carried sounds like distant weeping through the fells. Father Elias, earnest and newly ordained, sought to comfort his flock. Each dawn he blessed fresh water in the font, reciting the ancient rite with careful devotion. Benedict, Domine, quitram istam aquae, thee. Water would shimmer briefly, as though kissed by unseen light, and the people would cross themselves and drink, finding solace. But one chill October morning, as the priest dipped the aspergillum to sprinkle the nave, something changed. The clear water in the font darkened, thickened, and turned the color of fresh spilled blood. Picture it with me, listener. The grey light of dawn filtering through narrow windows. The priest's hand trembling as crimson ripples spread across the surface. Droplets fell from the sprinkler like slow rubies onto the stone floor. The villagers gathered for matins gasped in unison. An old woman near the front fainted clean away. Father Elias, pale as parchment, whispered the benediction again, but the water remained blood-warm, metallic-scented. Impossibly real. Words spread swiftly. Some cried miracle, others muttered of judgment. Pilgrims began to arrive from neighboring villages, drawn by rumor of a sign from heaven or perhaps from deeper places. As days passed, the blood water did not spoil. It stayed fresh, neither clotting nor stinking, and those who dared touch it felt a strange peace settle over their hearts, as though heavy burdens were quietly lifted. Yet with that peace came a subtle forgetting. Memories of loved ones faded, old sorrows blurred, even the sharp edge of faith grew dull. Father Elias watched in growing unease. At night he kept vigil alone. In the church, kneeling before the font, begging guidance, and in the silence he began to hear faint voices rising from the crimson surface, soft Latin, whispers, not quite prayer, not quite song. Imagine it now, listener, the weight of your own day easing from your shoulders, the cool touch of stone against your brow, the slow rhythm of breathing matching the distant drip of water in an empty church. Feel your body grow heavier, sinking gently into rest as we descend deeper into this chronicle. Inhale the faint trace of frankincense and iron. Exhale slowly, letting every tension drift away like mist at sunrise. What? If the blood water was no mere portent, but an invitation veiled in terror? A chilling gift that promised rest at the price of remembrance. Hold that thought. Softly, like a candle flame shielded from the wind. The whispers grew clearer to Father Elias. They spoke of an ancient sin buried beneath the church. Forgotten martyr whose blood had once soaked the ground, whose name had been stricken from the calendars for reasons lost to time. The martyr, the voices. Claimed, offered mercy, drink deep, and be freed from the ache of living memory. The pain of loss, the sting of guilt, the fear of judgment, all would dissolve in crimson peace. Villagers began to linger after Mass, cupping hands to the font and sipping. One by one, their faces softened into serene vacancy. Old grudges vanished. Mourning mothers smiled blankly at empty cradles. Even the animals grew quiet. Father Elias alone resisted, fasting and praying through the nights, his rosary clicking like desperate bones. Yet the whispers found him too, curling around his heart like incense. They showed him visions, his own childhood. Sorrows fading, the weight of priestly duty lifting, a vast and quiet darkness where no memory could wound him again. Breathe with me now, dear listener. Inhale the stillness of an empty nave. Exhale every lingering care, letting it sink beneath the surface of the blood water. Feel your limbs grow heavy, your thoughts slow and dreamy as the Chronicle draws toward its close. One frost-rimed night, as All Souls is approached, Father Elias stood alone before the font. The church. Candles had burned low, their flames trembling in unseen breath. The blood water lapped gently at the stone rim, reflecting starlight from the high windows like a mirror of dark wine. The whispers rose in a tender chorus. Drink, faithful servant, and rest. All is forgiven, all is forgotten. The priest's hand trembled as he reached toward the surface. For a moment he saw his reflection fractured in red eyes hollow, face lined with years of unspoken fear. Then, with a cry that dawn found Father Elias on his knees amid the wet stones, weeping, not from sorrow but from the sudden sharp return of every memory he had almost surrendered. The water never turned again. The villagers slowly reawakened to their griefs and joys, their sins and hopes, their full and human lives. Some cursed the priest for denying them peace, others blessed him for preserving their souls. Father Elias served out his days in quiet penance, and when he died, they buried him beneath the font itself, that no such temptation might rise again. Yet in the old chronicles of Northumbria, it is written that on certain silent nights when the mist lies thick and the church stands empty, faint red ripples can still be seen in the holy water just for a moment before they fade. A reminder perhaps that true rest comes not in forgetting, but in carrying our burdens gently into the mercy of sleep. As you drift now, dear listener, let the